We move on to our next celebrity showcase this morning, and he personally always reminds me of Leonardo DiCaprio, you know, in Hollywood screen. He's a genteel presence on the screen. I mean, there's something called screen presence. There's a screen presence of the strident, strong variety. Say, Y.G. Mahendran spoke about Shivaji Ganeshan, for instance. You know, Rajinikanth, people like that who have a very strident screen presence. And there are those who have these gentle presences, which are as or more enduring than this, you know, or as enduring. And it's not by the number of films that you do that this is remembered. It's by the impact you make, by the persuasive impact that you make. A persuasive actor, you know, in every embodiment of the term. I mean, he's as good. I mean, people shouldn't be as good in so many departments. You know, you're either an actor or you're a businessman. Now, if you're a businessman who does tremendously well, you're an actor who does tremendously well. That's a bit of a, you know, it's cheating others of opportunities, I think. Anyway, but he's that. You know, he's from a very renowned industrialist, philanthropic family. His mother, in fact, was a renowned dancer, and Arvind Swami. By now, you know who I'm talking about, so there's no suspense. But he did that memorable role of the collector, you know, in Talapati in 1990. And the very next year went on to do the other memorable film, Roja. Then he went on to do not a film, but a master's in international business in Wake Forest, North Carolina. Then he came back and you saw him more films, equally memorable roles, Bombay, Minsara Kanavu, Devaragam. And then he decided that this is enough and he quit films in 1990. Happily enough, not permanently, he's come back to it. And then he went on to start the BPO that Keshav spoke about, the Pro Global BPO, which I think employed something like 20,000 people and had a turnover of something like $750 million. So, you know, this is fascinating. And he then divested or exited that, and now he leads a Talent Maximum company, again employing thousands of about 4,000 people. And he's returned to cinema, happily for us, with Mani Ratnam's latest film, Kadal. And he tells me he has been shooting over the last few days. So he's obviously on to many more projects in many languages, hopefully, apart from Tamil. And he's a recipient of the Kalema Mani and the Rajiv Gandhi Award for National Integration. Ladies and gentlemen, Arvind Swami.
Hi. Thanks, Sashi, for the very generous introduction. I don't think Leo would be happy. Respected members on the dais and in the audience, it's a privilege and an honor to be here today. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate the organizers for putting together such a complex event. It's obviously a success already, and yet we are here trying to talk about our successes. I don't believe that I've succeeded in anything, actually. I always believe that I'm a work in progress. For example, the organizers here, when the event is over and it's already a great success, they would think back and look at all the hurdles that they faced and probably knock down a few cold ones and talk about how they overcome those hurdles. And that to me is probably one of the definitions of success, is to look back and to see how far we've come from where we started, what we overcame, the hurdles, the challenges that we faced, and you know, how we solved it. So what is success? I don't even know. How does one define success? I don't have an answer to that as well. It is so relative and it's subjective, and it's constantly evolving in its meaning and its relevance. So in a light-hearted way, I'm going to look at my time in Don Bosco and the experience that I had there and how it maybe cross-pollinated to abilities in my life to take me where I am today. When I joined Don Bosco, I came from a school called Sishya. I joined Don Bosco in the 8th grade. I was probably one of the youngest members in my class, also one of the smallest. I hadn't grown much. I was extremely short and fat. They used to call me the potato a little a year or so later. And what it did was that the first few days when I joined the school, I remember I witnessed some fights in the playground. There were, some of my classmates were really big, and I remember the aggression that classmate like Anup Alexander or Malcolm had, and I was petrified. I didn't know how I was going to defend myself against any attack or any bullying. So what I did was I honestly pretended to be a very Sida Sada boy who didn't know anything, who didn't know a single bad word or abuse. I pretended to be such an innocent person that it would actually, these people would feel guilty even to think about whacking me. So that's how I got through my first 2 years in Don Bosco before the growth hormones kicked in and I was confident enough to think that I could protect myself. So that performance for the first 2 years is what I remember as my first big performance of total innocence to just survive and to get through all the bullying. Then came the academics, of course. I loved biology. I remember the sex education classes in the AV hall. The math, the physics, the geography, all that. But I cannot thank Mr. Pitambaram for the effort that he took, the futile effort that he took to teach me Hindi. When to use kha and when to use ka and when to use tha and I never got it right. And I was thinking about him a lot when I had to dub for the film Bombay, because I never got it right, and I had another tutor who was telling me the same things that Pitambaram had told me in class. And that tutor was struggling with me as much as Mr. Pitambaram did. And of course, this provided a lot of entertainment to some of my colleagues like Anupam Kher and all that when I acted with them. And they used to have a good laugh with the khas and the keys and whatever else that was still so complex when it came to Hindi. Pay attention to this. Khatri Ku plus Noah would give me Khatri Ku Na and Hato. Everything was going well in the academics since organic chemistry, till organic chemistry hit me in the face like a rock. I didn't understand a single equation right through, the time that I studied chemistry. I somewhere skipped the basics and I couldn't really catch up. So I mugged up the entire organic chemistry chapter or textbook, mugged up all the equations. Khatri-Ku was acetic acid. Noah was NaOH, I think it is sodium hydroxide. So Khatri-Ku and Noah would give me Khatri-Ku Na, which is C3H-COOH-Na, and Hato. Hato was not a Hindi word, it was H2O. And that's how I remembered all my chemistry equations. So what it did was it gave me, and this is again, I'm just having fun with this, it gave me the confidence to mug up things that I didn't understand. So whether it was pages of Hindi dialogue or dialogue in a language that I didn't understand, that Khatri-Ku experience gave me the confidence that I could, mug up anything. Then came, of course, the higher secondary school, the 11th and 12th, which to me still remains as the 2 years that I had the most fun with. I was in the commerce section, the D section. Never found the academics challenging, so I remember what I used to do was to, and this went right to Loyola as well, I used to not study during the term, and just the night before the exam I used to cram, and I remember Jeetu, Hector, Sharad, all of us used to, who were in school and Loyola together, we used to cram the night before. Then I realized that, when there are no challenges, you have to create new ones. Like not study through the semester, just make sure that you have to read an entire book overnight, don't sleep, and I think I probably created a lot of challenges on the way. But seriously speaking, I think the accounting that Mr. Fonseca taught us, I still remember all the things that he used to make us stand and say. In fact, if he was here, he would have told me to button up. He'll say, "Don't tempt me," in class. Of course, also Mr. Michael, Mr. Tharman, Mr. Patrick, all of them, I think they taught us the basics of a lot of things that I went on to learn in college and in the masters as well. I also learned in DB that debt was a bad thing, debt as in loans. Till today, I'm averse to debt. All my companies are debt free. This is because of the early experience that I had with Hanif and the canteen uncle. Used to be a debt that I could never repay. I mean, all the time, end of the semester, end of the month, whatever, whenever I go, there's always something that I owed them. And so it kind of was a lesson to me. It insulated me from the the dynamics, the vagaries of the cost of capital when I started businesses. That's a debt that I could never repay, and I figured everybody here seems to owe money to Hanif. I think they didn't learn, I learned. See, you did, right. 11th and 12th, though I was studying commerce, was a time that I experimented with chemistry and biology. The culturals was an ecosystem. The inter-school culturals was an ecosystem in which we experimented with chemistry and biology. I learned so much about romance, about things to do, things not to do with women, with girls, how to attract their attention, what looks to give, all that. Who could forget Jeetu's bike, the wheelie that he did, I think, with Vidyodaya Culturals. It didn't land him the girl, but it landed him on his back on the road. He, of course, got up and kicked his bike like as it was the bike's fault. Also, I mean, while all this was going on, we used to be very active. Bala used to be the champion of Damsharads. They used to, I think, actually used to cheat because they used to have a language that nobody understood, because there's no way that anybody could figure out what they were saying, except the three of them, John. And there were also times that it taught me a lot of humility. I still remember that, we thought we had done something great by winning the Padma Seshadri culturals. And incidentally, I was in the dance team. I learned later on how I should not be dancing, even in the movies. So even they paid me, I used to refuse to dance, because when I saw, I think, myself dancing, it was a good learning there that I shouldn't be dancing. It taught, and I can narrate you an incident in which we thought we had done something great by winning the Padma Seshadri culturals, and we came to school and everybody were congratulating us, and it was a cool thing to do. And so we thought in the assembly they're going to give us this huge shield. And I thought I'm going to go up on stage and collect the shield, a few of us, and how it was a great thing. And just before we did that, they did give us the shield, but before we went up on stage, the principal announced that Vishy Anand had just come back, I think from Linares or somewhere, by winning the rapid chess tournament, beating all the legends in chess, and they gave him a big trophy. And sorry? Lloyd's Bank tournament, and then diminished the value of the trophy that we were receiving. I mean, imagine going up and thinking I had already practiced my walk and all that. Going up and getting the trophy for Padma Seshadri culturals when, Vishy Anand went and picked up this big trophy, and we felt like idiots going and being at the Padma Seshadri trophy. So it also taught me that irrespective of what I do, someone's always going to be doing something better, achieving something that I think is better. Coming back to what success means to me personally, I think it's the ability to be happy doing things that you want to do. And it's the ability to be happy doing different things at different times that interests you, the ability to take that risk and succeed, like somebody said. not about a blind risk, but in that pursuit of happiness. And that, I think, is important. The journey of getting there is important than the destination itself. I felt many times that I've succeeded in something. There are times when I've actually failed. For example, I have this principle in life that I don't pay a bribe. So I've failed many times to pay a bribe, but I think that's success as well. I failed many times to get the permissions that I want, or whatever it is that I've applied to, and I failed. But I think in my mind, the ability to not be tempted to lose your values and your sense of right and wrong is actually success. Success to me personally is talking about the businesses and what I did. It was not about having a global multi-million-dollar business. It was more about employing that number of people. It was more about getting there and doing that without compromising on the values and the systems. All that I think even it's crystallized at a very young age, and I think when I was in Don Bosco, it played a big part in making me create that value system for myself. And also for example, in the movies and in business, before I went for my first shot in the movie Talabadi, I had no clue on acting. I'd never acted even in a play in school. I think maybe once or something I was the Begum in a play in which I didn't have much to speak about. But the success to me there in those contexts was to have the heart to go and try something without knowing it. And I did the same thing in my business as well. I didn't know much about the technology of business process outsourcing, but I think when I look back, I think the key to that was to first acknowledge to yourself and to others that you don't know anything about it. And that gives you a base in which you have nothing to lose and you have only things to learn and gain. So with common sense, with the humility that you don't know anything, with so much of knowledge available today on the internet and with so many resources there, I think the application of that common sense and these principles enable even someone like me who didn't know any of these things to pursue. I'm talking about in a business context, or to learn from, let's say, my mentor Mani Ratnam or Santosh Sivan when I was there, using my time and putting in my effort and hard work to do that. And to me, again, like I said, success was about those experiences. For example, success to me was playing an exhibition tournament, exhibition match with Mr. Vijay Amitraj at MCC. I don't know if he remembers, he won't. Amongst the score, which probably read 6-love or something, we were playing doubles. There was one shot that I still remember where I passed him down the line forehand when he was on the net. That to me is success. It was one shot, but it was success. I still think about it. I don't think as much about the many other things that people would attribute success to, but I think about that one pass down the line, and he was shocked, and he made a joke, in the great sportsman that he is. So all the tennis that I tried playing from my childhood as recreation or whatever culminated was worth it, because that one shot of passing him down the line on the net was a big thing for me. It was a big thing for me when I beat Rahul Dravid in one ball when I played on one friendly match, an in-cutter which hit him on the pads, and I appealed to the umpire, and the umpire said, "I'm not going to give Rahul Dravid LBW on your ball, even if it hit the middle stump." Then, even Srikanth said that would have been out, but anyway, nobody's going to give him out. But that to me was success. For all the cricket that I played, that to me was success. Not the things that I did as a profession or a career, but these are the things that gave me great pleasure, that I look back with great pride. Success to me was last month, I woke up one morning and I wanted to go for a long run. I've not been a long distance runner, but I thought I must do this. And about a couple of months back, 5:30 in the morning, I ran on ECR. I ran 21 kilometers. I want to do the half marathon. And I never trained to do it. I just ran, just wanted to do it, and I did it. And all the way I was thinking, a few years ago, I had a back injury and I was in bed, paralyzed for almost a year. I couldn't move. I was a lot of pain. It took me a few years to recover, and so all along that 21-kilometer run, I was thinking how I couldn't get up from my bed and walk to the washroom, and I managed to run a 21 km. There are many people who would run for, the full marathon, would do more, but to me that was success. It's 21 km, maybe most people do it, but to me that was success. When I was ill, and like I said, when I was injured, I had a lot of medication. I was almost 100 plus kilos a few years ago, and I was suffering with a lot of pain and whatever. They had this very funny pictures of me before in the sense of when I was acting, and me totally out of shape. Nobody knew I was not well, but anyway, it was a funny thing that was going around viral on the internet, where people said, look at how he was and how he's become, or now let me see which girl wants to marry him, or some such thing like that, And I laughed about it. At the same time, that's what I use to run that extra mile. That's what I use to motivate myself to push that extra weight. And that, to me, in my mind, means something, means success. So, like I said, success is so relative, it's changing all the time. To me, wearing a DB uniform, a grey pant, a white shirt, and coming here today with one button open maybe, and being able to tuck in the shirt is success.